Hi. Today we're going to look at Source2Viewer for modding deadlock and like what it is and how to use it. So yeah, when you open Source2Viewer, you should see it should find your apps. Mine's going to look different because I just set scaling to 200 so I could get better video output. So it'd be more legible on low reses. But you'll see this, and it should find your games. And inside here you'll see a bunch of like VPK files. The P's and K's are cut off here because of my scaling, but and these are like the files that the game uses for its assets and its prefabs and all of that. They're kind of like zip files. They have compiled info in them. So we need this to be able to see those, to view them, which is, again, Source2Viewer. It's for viewing Source2 files. So here we can open up one of these. Let's just grab this one. I don't know what it is. But in here, you have, a maps folder. Inside there, we have this hideout folder. Inside there, we have cube maps and entities. And there's a whole bunch of different kinds of files in here. So we have all these view model _c files, which are view model files, like models. So if I double click on this bounce pad trigger, we get this 3D model that shows up. And we can go in here, we can see like all this data. This is like physics, and I don't know what all these are, but there's tons of data here. There's a data tab. So we have all of this information about what these things look like. And you can see here, this thing's name is this. So there's a lot of data in here that we use, because it's all what the game engine uses. I want to find, let's pull up, here's like the game's kind of, this VPK is the one you'll probably be in most, Citadel Core, pack01_dir. So if I go into like model, oh wait, nope, this is not the right one, lol. I want Citadel pack01. I'll find it here. There it is. So in here, we have like a models folder, and I can go down into heroes. I know holiday because I've been working on stuff for that. So we have holiday's view model here, right? And again, we can view it, and there's a ton of tabs, just a ton of tabs. But if I go to references, we can see here, this model is referencing these other files that's in this, well, other files that are referenced in the engine. So we have like animation graphs that says like when the model has certain properties, these are the animations to run. We have, there's a reference to the barrels material, which is under abilities. We have the skeleton, which is under hero staging. We have the gun and the V2, which are under material. So these are all the references that this model's using. And so like if we look in here, like this is just simple like file paths. It's just in VPKs. So if I go back to that here, and we go to references, like if I want to find this gun material, I just go to this path. So if I go, I'm already in models, hero staging, Astro. If I just go into materials, here's the gun material. Right here. And I double clicked on it. But here's the gun material. We can see, I guess this is showing the folder, but we can see the gun material. One of the other references is to this material, which is, Holiday's body. Yeah. And so we can look at those references and we can see them. This one, like this is under models, abilities, materials, barrels. So we can go find that one. So if I go models, abilities, materials, Astro, barrel, V2, no glow. So here's Holiday's barrel material. And so again, like it's just referencing files. They're just housed inside of these folders. And the way that Source2 works is it's loading these VPK files and it's combining them. So there's multiple VPKs. So if I reference a file that doesn't exist in this VPK, basically if it's in another VPK, like those all sort of get merged. And so this model, I'll show you another one here. I might have to actually... Okay, so here, there's VPK files inside of Game Citadel Maps UI Hero prefabs. So if I open up Holidays, this is a much smaller VPK file. But in here, we have this vmap, right? And if I go to References, this is referencing the view model from the other VPK. Everything else is in this file, but this is referencing the view model from that pack01_dir VPK. So it's referencing across VPKs, and that's because Source is loading all of those in. Okay, so again, everything's just mapped. So you have to know like what packages are important. But so that's kind of the viewing part. I want to talk about like creating your mod and packaging your mod and how this works. So basically what you want to do, what you're doing when you're modding is you're basically like taking a file and you're overwriting it. You're basically replacing that file. And the way that works is you create another VPK. If I want to replace this barrel no glow material, I would create a VPK with this file in it in this structure. So I would replace models, abilities, materials, Astro Barrel V2 no glow. I would just create a VPK just with that. And then I would tell Source2 Engine to load my VPK in the correct order so that this file gets used, so that my custom file gets used instead of this one. Because it's like whenever you copy paste a file. If you copy and paste a file and that file already exists, right, your computer asks you, hey, do you want to overwrite this? And you say yes. It's the same thing, and you're just replacing assets. So to replace assets, you would go File, Create VPK from Folder, and you'd right-click and do Add Existing Folder. You can't see this, but you'd select your mod folder, and then I have to double-click here. I think that's just a bug. But here, if I want to replace Holiday's view model, I just, you know, we have the folder structure, we have the view model here, and if I right-click and save VPK to disk, I save that VPK. Again, it's like a zip file, and then I put that into the just how you add your mods to Deadlock like you do. And this file ends up replacing those original game files. So that's Source2Viewer. That's basically everything there is to it. You can view files. I forgot exporting. Let's cover exporting real quick. That's super important. All right, so we've covered viewing and we've covered like how the mods work basically. But let's talk about how we export. So all of these files, you can right click and oh, you can't see that. You can right click and select export as is or decompile and export. So if I grab like this Astro view model, if I decompile and export, I can export as a view model or a GTLF file, which would allow me to import into Blender. If I want to decompile and export a material, I can export that as a VMAT file. And basically like these compiled files, I think are like binary. And when you decompile them, it turns it into like readable text, basically. It's just a more verbose format. And again, so like if you export the Astro file as a view model and open it in Notepad, you're gonna see basically all of this stuff, right? This is what it like becomes. You get, and these references will be in there, but you get like all of this text. Because that's what that compiled file is containing. It's just compiled, so it's not readable. And we have like model animation data in here. There's all sorts of stuff in here. But so in your modding process, you'll be decompiling these things. You'll even be exporting certain files as is. But that's the big piece. Source2Viewer also allows you to export these assets and make them into workable things. Yeah, and just by right clicking on the asset and exporting as is, decompiling and exporting. When you get into modding, you'll see like again this holiday file references all of these other ones. And so like if you just export, you know, like the model but not the materials, then inside of your modding tool you're not going to have the materials, so your model is going to be red, right? Because those are missing. But theoretically, if you have it set right, it will work in game. So In the modding, you might, even though you might just be modding like the view model, you might actually be exporting other assets as well, just for nice viewing and verifying things look right. But yeah, that's source 2. I've been on for 10 minutes, so we're gonna call this the video. And I hope this was helpful, because I haven't seen any tutorials like this. So let me know how you like this. I'm planning to do more videos going forward, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.